Hey everybody, Justin Worden. You're watching What's New in Electronics. We are here on the floor of Productronica 2025, and I get to kick it off with one of my favorite things to do, a panel discussion. You guys ready for this?
You betcha, yeah.
All right, so this is going to be completely unscripted. Well, I'm lying. I got a few notes over here, but we're going to hit these guys with some curveballs, and we're going to talk about some topics that are driving a lot of interaction right now in this industry. But before we get started, gentlemen, why don't you introduce yourselves?
Sure, thanks Justin. I'm Joe Hertline. I'm with Indium Corporation. I'm a senior product manager. My focus is in our solder preform materials.
Hi, and my name's Dean Payne. I'm also a product manager for Indium Corporation. My focus is more on solder pastes and sintering materials.
Dave Heller, Heller Industries. I'm the CEO, and at this stage in life, I get to work on really interesting projects with guys like this.
All right, well, why don't you hang on to the microphone? Let's take it one step farther. What is or who is Heller?
Heller manufactures machinery for SMT assembly and for semicon back-end assembly. We typically are heating systems, reflow ovens, curing ovens, that type of product. We'll do vacuum machines, pressure, anything the customer needs that gets hot, we'll try to make a system for them.
If it gets hot, it gets Heller. There you go.
Got it.
I like that right there. Why don't you go ahead and pass it down to Joe to introduce Indium a little farther?
Sure. Yeah, Indium Corporation, our focus is in materials for the electronics industry. We offer soldering materials, that's a primary focus, but really anything that's really supporting assemblies, fluxes, thermal interface materials, these are big focuses for ours in many different configurations, many different applications.
Well, Joe, I'm going to let you hang on to the microphone there. We got supplies, materials, and then we got equipment. So why don't you kind of talk a little bit about how Indium and Heller has been collaborating over the last few years?
Yeah, for sure. So if you think about it, we're providing the soldering materials, Heller's providing the reflow ovens. It makes sense to naturally work together because the best practices on the material selection, the best practices in setting up the process, there's a lot of synergies there. So we've collaborated because we've had obviously common end users. We've also seen common trends in the industry, adopting new processes, new technologies. For example, formic acid reflow technology. Our materials focus is in this area, and of course Heller is developing those systems that can make it happen.
All right, well, let's bring it back to Heller just to kind of elaborate on that a little bit. I mean, he did a really good job, so let's see if you can spice it up a little bit.
Taking care of customers and solving their advanced process problems is really a team sport. So you have to bring together a significant group of people with different expertise. We certainly know how to get things hot, to cool it off, special atmospheres, but we know nothing about chemistry. And that's really Indium's forte. They know the chemistry, they know the metallurgy. Together, it's a solid team.
Well, I think that's what this industry could use so much more of. I think there's a competitive nature. It's more, we're really good at what we want to do and we don't want anyone else to know about it. But what we're seeing here is when you actually come together, let the experts be experts in their field,
right,
and we can move forward quite a bit faster. So, Dean, we're going to bring it back to you. He mentioned something, you said the word fast. You want to elaborate on what that exactly is?
Sure, no problem. So FAST is our new product line. FAST stands for formic acid soldering technology. So it's a new approach to reflow soldering where instead of using a flux, we're now relying on the formic acid from the reflow system to take care of the oxide reduction and the wetting of the solder. So a new approach to an already well-established process.
All right, well then we're going to bring it right back to Heller because I know this complements your reflow process very dearly.
Yes. So the formic acid project started actually back in the mid-1990s with digital equipment. They asked us to build a formic acid machine in case the Montreal Protocol would not prevent them from using flux at all. And as it turns out, the industry came out with great no clean fluxes, so they didn't really need formic acid at that point. Then fast forward to 2009, IBM had a similar challenge. How do you do die attach without flux, because they couldn't water wash the flux away anymore. And that's what really brought us into the modern age with formic acid machines. Now the challenge is how to do this with SMT, and that's what we're working on together.
All right, Joe, I'm going to bring it right back to you here. So Indium is very well known for always being an industry leader and really kind of breaking ground on new products. With materials, you have to constantly do that. Not so much of a battle on the equipment side because things move a little bit slower, but when new technology comes out, everyone has to do it. And that's something you're constantly always having to play catch up with the new materials. But tell us a little bit about the process of rolling out this new fast product, because last time I interviewed Indium, we were talking about a product that was just recently released, and now you already have another one.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Justin. So a big part of this is, helping the industry and positioning the industry to be ready. So with formic acid soldering, as Dave mentioned, there's some history, but the industries that have adopted it, primarily power electronics, and now really rolling this out into broader industries like SMT. There's a lot of best practices that have to be defined and rolled out and explained. So how to maximize the process window, how to mitigate some of the concerns about wettability and having this be something that's sustainable, not just in the lab, but in mass production. So that's an area we're working together to be able to produce some case studies, show some best practices, how to set up profiles, how to position based on the specific solder selection, alloy technology, the targeted use case, putting all those together so we can offer recommendations that allow our customers to hit the ground running and not have to develop the process from scratch.
All right, Dean, we're going to bring you right back in. So, we're talking about bringing out new products and rolling out new products. With Indium on the product development side, what really is the driving force behind bringing out a new product or kind of digging in? Because one, it's a big financial investment, it's a massive time commitment, and it might not work. So is it more Indium study in the marketplace, or is this driven by customer feedback?
It's really a mixture of both of those things. I mean, a lot of the product development that Indium is focused on is customer need driven. So we identify a problem, our customer pain points, and we develop the material to address that. What was the other point?
Well, I think you actually hit it right on the head. I mean, going in and investing your own time and resources. Let's kind of rephrase the question. What type of process do you have in place to kind of get that feedback from your customer?
I mean, these trade shows are crucial. The interaction that we have with the customers on the booth, being able to see them face to face and have the same or have the similar points of view from many different customers at the same time is really important to us. I mean, you can't beat the interaction that you get at these trade shows. But it really also just comes down to the people that we have working in our customer-facing staff, our tech, our sales support, getting that constant feedback and interaction with the customer, feeding it then into the product managers, into our R&D. It's that feedback loop is crucial.
Well, we can tell Dean's done this before because he went ahead and actually plugged the trade show right there. So What's New in Electronic can get another sponsor for the show. So Productronica, thank you so very much. But bringing it back to you over here at Heller, you guys are rolling out ovens and temperature. It takes a lot to change the technology in a piece of equipment. It seems like every time you guys move forward, these guys go and roll out some new material that you have to adjust for. How do you guys kind of handle that process in collaboration?
Absolutely interactive. We always have to be listening to what the material suppliers in the industry are doing and maintaining a communication. But ultimately, it's working with the customers to try to address their pain points. The best conversation you can have with a customer is when they come to you and say, I have a problem. Wouldn't it be great if your oven could do this, or if the material could do that? That's priceless, because that gives us our fuel for a new product development.
I love that. That's such a great transition to the next part of this conversation we're having. I mean, these are supposed to be raw. Again, they're a little scripted, but I always go off script because that's what the conversation calls for, because then we can get some real raw information. You mentioned troubleshooting problems. I mean, we all want to get up here and act like we sell, and we do want to sell the best product and put the best things forward, but mistakes happen. There are problems, profiles get mixed up. What steps do you take to really troubleshoot that when it happens, or even to prevent it from happening?
I think the most important thing is to have a connection between the customer and our central technology group. If somebody is trying to solve a problem by themselves, it can be very frustrating. So the key is global communication so that local problems can be accelerated and exposed to our general technology team or our greater team, including material suppliers, so that we can sit and figure out what's really going on and how to solve the problem.
Yeah, and I think the important thing that you're taking away from that is it's very easy to get that first sale but it's that second, third, and fourth. And the only way you're going to be able to get that is by taking care of the customer, listening to the customer, because what they bought today may not be what they need tomorrow. So Dean, bringing it back to you, when you're on the product development side and you start hearing about errors and difficulties with process, I mean, what steps do you guys take to kind of troubleshoot that?
I think the first step is really understanding exactly what the problem is. So at Indium, we've always prided ourselves on having a world-class customer service or tech support team. So getting onto the customer line, getting our hands on with the issue that what they're feeding back is really important to finding a solution.
Well, and one thing about both of your companies, and I can definitely speak to Indium on this from a personal note, you guys also partner with very good distribution channels. You guys drive great service teams, great outside sales teams, and that's just an extension of the company, because then you have people located in all the areas that speak the language, know the culture, understand the customer, and it allows them to be much more comfortable sharing both positive and sometimes difficult negative feedback. But the negative feedback, I shouldn't even use the word negative, constructive criticism maybe, that's how we grow. That's why we're having this conversation, because something happened in the field, we had to change, and now new products are being released. So Joe, we're going to wrap it up, bringing it back to you. What's next?
Yeah, so really for us, it's how we can work together, how we can put some knowledge out in the industry, right? So we have some plans near term. We're actually working together on some content, some webinars that we plan to publish. We want to, our goal is to make public information available, to users out there, again, to help with the adoption, help take the first step on understanding what things to troubleshoot, what things to look out for, again, how to consider that process window, and again, how to get to that point. So look to see that in the coming months as we work together to roll this out, and obviously as we continue to get more feedback from users, we intend to continue to keep that communication going.
Oh, that's wonderful. I mean, he hit that pretty good. I mean, do you guys got anything else you want to add to any of that, or are we good on that one?
I think
all right.
We're absolutely looking forward to this type of interaction, solving these interesting questions. This is what's fun about our industry. So,
wonderful. Well, there you go, guys. If you're watching this, you want to learn about Indium, you want to learn about Heller, what's the website?
www.hellerindustrials.com.
You want to give out the Indium website?
Yeah, and to find us at Indium, it's www.indium.com.
There you go. Open your mouth, share your feedback, positive, negative. We're here to learn. It's your information that drives this industry forward. It's companies like this that are willing to listen, roll out new products, and invest their time, money, and resources to deliver better products. Everybody, thank you for watching What's New in Electronics.